This is a video for the draft of the scanner management system. When the application first starts, it comes up and asks you for a username and password. So you type in a username and then you type in your password. And then when you click log on, it will, based on the username and password, it brings you into a screen called unprocessed activity. These are the collected activity from a hand scanner. So when it first shows it, it'll show you the PO numbers that are collected, and it shows whether the status is in open. That means it's currently in process of being collected, or if it's closed, then the user from the handheld has closed the order and has requested the processing. So if you want to see what's been on order or requested for order, you click the PO number and it shows the line items. It shows the part number, the quantity, which customer it goes to, where it's being shipped to, the PO number associated with it, and its current status, and who is actually collecting the data, and so forth. You can take a look at another one that's closed, ready to go. It shows the line items, item numbers, the quantities, the customer number, the ship to, the PO number. It's in a status of closed, so it's ready to be processed, and who the person was that collected it. But back on the application, you have user password management. You can manage your customers. You can associate the users of the handheld with the customers that they can select and actually do the data collection at. The data collected processing, which we're looking at right now. Ship to, which manages the ship to areas, and we have some reports and company information. And the reports and company information are still in work. But back on the user password, if you click this, it shows the current users that are inside the system. So if you wanted to make some adjustments to one of them, you could actually just click it. It brings over the information, has the username and password, and this is the username and password that the user would log on to the handheld scanner and actually do the data collection. So you can actually modify this information and click update, and if we change the address and we update it, you'll see it went back and updated the information. If we would like to add one, you fill out the username and you fill out the password and you type in the name and you type in the email address. And you give them a role on what they're going to be doing. Since we already have an admin set up, you would pick this as a user underneath the admin, and then you'd click add, and it would add that person into the list for using the handheld scanner. And conversely, if you would like to delete an item, you click on it, it will fill in the information, and you click delete, and it will remove that person that's in the system from actually using the scanner. And if something goes a little, you want to refresh your screen, you just click refresh and it clears everything and resets the screen to be worked. Underneath the customers tab, this gives you the ability to manage customer management. You can put in a company code, you can put in a company name, and it lists the ones that are currently in the system by default. If you want to make any modifications, you click on the item, it will bring it up, and if you make changes to it, you click update, and you notice it updates the information. So we can bring that back up, and we can do an update, And if you'd like to refresh the screen, you click refresh. Otherwise, if you put a company code in there and we give it some information and we click add, it will add that line item or that customer into your customer list. And when we get to the handheld side of it, I'll show you where all this information is managed on the handheld. And everything that you do here is all in real time. Everything that the handheld scanners are doing are in real time. So you'll be able to see, manage, do everything all in a real-time state. Underneath user customer management, this is where it drops down the people that are currently in the system, as you have over here underneath your password management. So if we come back over here to user customer management and drop that down, see there's 3 people. We can go back to user customer management. We can add in another person. And put a password and their name, email address, and their role. And now we just added another user. So if we go back to customer management and we take a look at that, it'll show you that this person in real time has been added to the system. So if we pick that person, now we can associate this person with these people that they can select on a handheld scanner. So when they pick a customer, they get the option to pick a customer, that this person only sees what they've been given. So here I will associate this user with this customer and bring it over, showing that this user has that customer, and I will pick another customer so that this user is associated with 2 customers. Now if I go back to admin has inside the handheld scanner, it can see everything. It sees all customers, it sees all users, it sees everything. So admin by default sees everything, so you don't have to select anything. But if I take a look at test, it shows that I have 3 associated customers with that user. And if I pick this user, it shows that this user has 1 customer. So basically this customer is only going to take care of 1 spot. The data collected, again, is actual orders that have been requested or still in process. Still in process is open again, and if they've been requested to be closed and processed, then they're set to close, and we'll go through that. Ship to, underneath the Ship to tab, we have different areas where you can define where items are going to be shipped. So this is just simply the areas for ship to. Again, you could type in a ship to area and you can add it and it will show up in the list, or you can highlight it and make modifications to it and update it, and it shows the update. Or you can click refresh and it just clears the screen. Or if you highlight the one that you want it to go away, you can click delete and it removes it from the list. So the next piece is how the handheld works. On the handheld application, you will actually go out to, on the handheld, using any device, an iPhone, an Android, a Windows phone, with an attached barcode scanner sled, you can go to the site that I will provide and type in the username and the password, and that's where these are associated with the username and password here. So as you set them up, this is where the person would log on with them. So if we logged in as admin, like I had mentioned, it is a global user, and it can see everything. And then you type in the password, and then you can click Remember Me if you wanted to remember the next time. So as you're using the handheld, when you bring up the site, it'll pre-populate. Then you log into the application, and this gives you the opportunity to do stock replacement, open review orders, request orders submitted for processing, take a look at order history, and then log back out of the system. So here we're going to go in and we're going to do a stock replenishment. And inside the stock replenishment, to set up how you're going to be collecting or where you're going to be collecting the information, the first thing you do is select salesman, and like admin can see all of them. So from there, as an admin, you can process an order for somebody, or you can actually select a user that you want to create the order for. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a user, and then we're going to select the customer. And these are the customers that we had just added over back on the on this list, so that we have a customer number or customer name. And then the drop down, since you're an admin, you can see everything. And as we had added that test location, you notice that it's located in the drop down already. And this is, everything is in real time. And then the ship to location, when we take a look at that, here's that test area that we added before. And when it comes into the PO number, this is an optional field that you can type in any PO number that you want, so that you can keep track of from a PO statement on how you want to manage things. Once this information is added, you click on Create New Order. And what it does is it comes into the screens for beginning to collect the data. So for information, it says it's going to be a stock replenishment, who the user is, which company it's for, where it's going, and so forth, and what the PO number is. So the first thing you would do is you'd click Add Item, and then set the cursor for your part number. And then this is where you use the handheld scanner, and then you pull the trigger and you scan in the first part number, and then you'd add the quantity on how many you want, and these are the packages, and then you'd click Submit, and it says item added successfully. So what that did was it added one item to the list. You can go take a look at the list and what you just added by clicking back to list, and it shows the item, it shows the quantity, and it gives you the option to delete it if you made a mistake. And then to continue on your order, you click Add Item, and then you can type in the next number, or you can scan it, and then you type in the quantity, and I want 5 packages of this item, and then you touch Submit, and it says item added successfully. And if you want to take a look at your list, you can go back and take a look at your list. You can modify it, you can do that. So you can go back and forth and add items. You can scan more part numbers. You can put more quantities in. I want 1 package of them, and I submit that, and now I have a total of 3 items. And let's say that this was the list that I would like to submit for processing. So I'm out in the field, I'm in the warehouse, I'm scanning, I scan these 3 parts, I say I need 2 packages of these, 5 packages of these, and 1 packages of these. So as the user, when I'm all done, I click Close Order, and that will close the order. It says, are you sure? It gives you the ability, just in case you made a mistake, to cancel out. and leave the order alone. And before I go to close order, I would like to show that when the data collected, if I refresh it, if I'm back at the office, I can see that I have an open order, the 1Q2W3E that I'm working on. If I pick it, it shows those 3 line items that I just collected on the handheld. And this handheld can be anywhere that you have a connection to the internet, Wi-Fi connection, and so forth. So you can see that it's working in real time. And you notice that I'm still in an open mode because I have not closed the order. But now if I close the order for as user and I click OK, it will clear it and it will post it back. And if I click refresh, you will see that the 1Q2W3E PO number is now closed. So looking at these 3 line items, it says this person out in the field has requested this information for that customer to be shipped to that location. So next, on the open orders, you'll notice that there are no open orders. So we'll return requested orders submitted for processing. From the user standpoint, the 1Q2W3E going to this customer shipped to that location shows that it is still in an unprocessed mode until the process is completed back at the office. Will it come off their list? So they can actually see what they've posted and whether or not they've been worked back at the office. So the user in the field can see that the office has not processed the order yet. But they can actually go in and take a look at those items seems to be an error in the query, and I'll get that fixed. Well, we can go back and we can return back to the main menu, and it shows that everything has been ordered, and they can go ahead and log out. When we talked about other users coming into the system, if they come in with their username and they come in with their password and they come into the system, it will show that when they go to stock replenishment that they are the only salesman, and it only shows the associated customers that they can actually collect data for. The ship to location, they can also select where it's actually going to be shipped to, and then they can create an order and create a new order. They can add an item, and I want 1 package, or I want 10 packages of these, and that's all I want. So then I can take a look at what I have. Now, for example, let's say I stop right here, I take lunch, I come back, I can pick up where I left off. If I was to get disconnected, I can log in back with my username, my password. I can come back in. I can review my open orders, and it shows that I have orders waiting to be processed because they're in an open state. But if I click on the PO number, I can go right back to the screen of where I'm at, and I can add more items, and I can continue on. And I want 5 packages of these. I submit it. I go back and take a look at my list, and it shows that I have 10 packages and 5 packages and so forth. So from the console standpoint in the office, you can actually do a refresh, and you can see that I have an open order for these orders for line items, quantities, customer, where they're getting shipped to, the PO number associated with it, and what status it is and who's collecting the data. So back on the handheld, if I was to, you click up here where it says IHD stock replenishment, it takes you back to the menu. And like I said, it shows, let me go back to main menu. These are the orders that have not been submitted or closed. Now you'll notice that it's empty because before I was logged on as admin, but now I'm logged on as Randy. And Randy, the user Randy, has no closed orders that are waiting to be processed. So now it's dynamic and it stays to the user. So when you set it up and the user logs on, they only get to manage what the user is working on. So they can go back to the main menu, but they can take a look at what they have as open. So if they wanted to take that open order and close it, it now is closed. So if they go back to open, there are no open orders, and they can review the orders that have been submitted. So now this one is in a submitted state, waiting to be worked. So if you come back and from the office standpoint, if you click refresh, it shows that you have an order that is currently in a closed state. Oh, very close on the PO numbers, but this one shows that it was in a closed state, that I have the line items, I have the quantities, the packages, where they're getting shipped to, and the salesman. So from the user standpoint, they can go ahead and return back to the main menu, and then they can go ahead and log out. So there, the data has been collected, and the data can be processed. At this point, the user in the office would like to process these. They would highlight which one they want to process. It shows the line items that want to be processed, and then you click the button Process Selected, and what that does is it processes the order, closes it from the system, and will pop up the data that can be carried over into your system and be processed accordingly. So this is how the application works, and we'll go from there. I still have a couple items to complete on it. As we've seen in that one error, I got an error in the query on the closed items. I'll get that fixed, and we'll pick up everything from there. But this is how the application works. It can be used right now, and I will send everything in an email, and if you get a chance to review it, take some time, review it, let me know your thoughts, your concerns, and we'll go from there. But everything is managed in real time, so I just wanted to make everyone aware that depending on how many scanners are out in the field working, this will allow you to see the status and everything of the data coming in, the data being collected, and so forth, and we'll go from there. Reports is going to show what has been collected, some data analytics behind it, and so forth, and that is still in work, as I said. So please take a look and let me know. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.